It's really no surprise to me that I ended up growing up to be a stand-up comedian, because when I was a child, the school psychologist always told me that I was very artistic. But it was weird though, because he pronounced it with a British accent. As a thinker, wait till it goes around. We just separated the C1 level English speakers from the B2. And I can make that joke because in the United States, I worked in autism services for 10 years. And that is why I am so good at talking to Czech people. Now, as someone who worked in mental health services, I'm a little disappointed in something that's happened recently. I have heard a lot of people have started to say the R word again as a pejorative term. People have started to call each other retarded again. And it bothers me, it does, because think about it. What do you mean when you call your friend retarded? You mean that he's being a bit of a dumbass, but he could choose to act differently. And you express this to him by comparing him to someone who has a condition where they cannot choose to act differently. And I just think that's gay. Now, like most Americans in Prague, I did teach English for a while. And I love it because my students would always make these cute little mistakes, you know? Like, I had a student once, she forgot the word for aluminum foil. She called it metal paper. Aw, it's so cute, right? My ex-girlfriend, she was Ukrainian. She couldn't remember the word for soup. She called it liquid food. Aw, right? That's cute, right? I saw a translation here in Prague the other day that was not cute. This crossed a fucking line, okay? So here in Prague 1, that you can see, there's a virtual reality exhibit where you can meet the Golem. And those of you who are maybe from out of town, the Golem is this monster made of clay brought to life by a man named Rabbi Lowe. It's a very important part of Prague's Jewish history. And on the advertisement for this virtual reality exhibit to meet the Golem, in English, it said, "Interact with a Jewish monster." And I was like, Netanyahu? Now, I used to tell this joke. I don't tell it anymore because it doesn't make sense anymore. I used to tell this joke where I'd say, one time I got so high that I held a seance to try to contact the ghost of Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was a former United States president who, at the time that I would tell this joke, was not dead. He died at the beginning of this year, however, so I had to change the joke. I made it about a man named Dick Cheney, a former United States vice president who wasn't dead. He died 2 weeks ago. So now I'm thinking, are my jokes killing politicians? So anyway, Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump walk into a bar. Why did Putin cross the road? Probably because there was something that didn't belong to him on the other side. Now, when I first moved here to Prague, I didn't know that people here aren't as big into this, the holiday that's huge in America, Halloween. It was, a month and a half ago. I didn't realize this my very first year in Prague, and so I went to a gig dressed as the devil. And again, autism services. Czech people gave me fucking nothing. So I'm walking through the streets with horns on my head. No one's looking at me. No one cares at all. But then I see this little girl. She's looking at me. She's looking at me, and she's looking up at her father. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. She's going to give me the validation. She's going to acknowledge me. And she looks up at her dad, and she tugs on his sleeve, and she goes, Daddy, Daddy, look, an American.